can you believe this? We're in a YouTube video. This is crazy, right? We are starting a brand new series called
2,000 years later.
How to Relationship. It's gonna be great. We're gonna talk about all of our favorite relationships, our relationship with our families, our relationships with our mentors.
What's the one thing all great teams have in common?
Great coaching.
Don't try to suck up to me, Averman.
And even our relationships with our crushes, our little boyfriend, girlfriends.
And increasingly near. As this star approaches us, Jim Starr.
Whew. That clip, man. Listen, hey, today we're gonna talk about what I think are my favorite relationships, and it's probably your favorite relationships too, are friends. Guys, like, how much do you love your friends? They're the best, right? I still have buddies, actually, from when I was in high school. That's almost 18 years ago. That's longer than some of you have been alive. So honestly, quickly, tell the person next to you who you've been friends with the longest. Go. Friends have like incredible staying power, don't they? There's just something awesome about hanging out with your friends. They get you completely. They understand the things you want, and you can just be around them and do absolutely nothing, and it still is somehow the best day ever. But maybe you don't want to do just nothing. Maybe you want to plan the most amazing day ever with your friends. So you know what? Here, take 30 seconds. Do that right now. Listen, I'm sure you guys planned all the best days ever, but I'm gonna ask you this. Hey, since our friends all matter so much, how often do you think about what type of friend you are? How often do you actively think about if you're a good friend? Man, if you're at all like me, probably not nearly enough. Hey, here's what's crazy. We're at church, we're on YouTube, I know, but we're at church too. So we're talking about Jesus for a little bit. Jesus was intentional. Jesus had a purpose. And actually what he did was Jesus spent a ton of time hanging out with his friends. And he had fun with those friends. He didn't just walk around. He wasn't just this old, like, weird guy that just preached all the time. He hung out with his friends and he cared about those relationships. Relationships that worked when times were good and also worked when times were bad. He was honest with his friends. He spoke the truth to them, but he always did it in love. He cared so deeply for those dudes. And I think we could learn a lot about how to be great friends by listening to what Jesus says about friendships. Check out this verse. This is in John 15. Love as I have loved. No greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for a friend. Man, Jesus loved his friends so much that he was willing to actually die for them. And now, really, Jesus actually did die for them. He was ready to do that. Now, do I think that you need to actually die for your friend? Like probably not. Jesus probably isn't asking you to do that. However, I would hope that if push came to shove, if you were in the heat of the moment, you would jump in front of a bullet for your friend. Just all energy because you're so excited. But I actually think what Jesus is asking you may be a little bit harder. He's asking you to die to yourself every single day. Would you be willing to drop everything you're doing to help them? Would you be willing to stick up for them in the comments of a post that's just trashing them? Like, knowing that now when you do that, people will come after you as well. Would you be willing to put up with their annoying traits, even though they make you want to rip your hair out? How willing are you to die for your friends? How willing are you to be Jesus to people that maybe aren't just like you? I guess today, here's what we're going to talk about. How does that practically work? How do we become friends who are more like Jesus? And I think the answer to this is actually a little bit out of the box. I think that if we want to be better friends to our friends, the first thing we need to do is be better at understanding our friends. Understanding the way they act, the things that make them tick, the things that bug you and the things that bug them. I think if you had a better idea of how your friends operated, you could do a way better job of dying daily for them. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the ball rolling. We're gonna talk about 3 different types of friends and talk about how we can personally be Jesus to those different types of people. So here's the first one for you. Do you have any friends that are like Lego Batman? Yeah, you know the one. Hear me out. You know this guy. He's always in charge. He always wants to do everything his exact way.
Relax, everybody. I'm here.
Batman? Awesome! Could you make one of these in orange?
I only work in black, and sometimes very, very dark gray.
Do you have friends like this? Friends with a type A personality, friends that always want to decide how everything works. And what's hard for you is you are annoyed by them, but also they usually get things done. They crush things. They're probably good at school. They're probably good at basketball. They're probably good at everything they do. Look at Lego Batman. He's out there being Bruce Wayne and he's out there being Batman at the same time. He's accomplishing all sorts of crazy things, but man, is he intense. So intense that it stresses you out a little bit. Do you have people in your life that are that intense? And how could you be Jesus to those people? But what if you slowed down enough to ask them some questions? What if you understood what made them tick? What if you asked them about their day? What if you listened to what they wanted and maybe did it every once in a while? I don't know. So, question for you. Do you know any Lego Batmans? And what kind of practical ways could you be Jesus to them? Okay, but listen, not everyone in your life is type A. They aren't all in charge people. And honestly, sometimes we have friends who are the opposite of that. They're kind of like the Eeyores. They're kind of the people that tend to be down. They find ways to be grumpy about everything. And granted, listen, they're not like that all the time, but man, is it easy for them to get in a mood. Like, you know the ones, the Squidwards.
Hey, Sandy, watch me do the grouchy Squidward.
Stop naming moves after me.
Everybody's an idiot except for me.
Do you know any Squidwards? Do you know any people that it seems like it doesn't matter what you're doing, they find a way to make it lame? Like they find a way to just bring the energy down. And it's tough because you love these people. You care about these people. You value them. They're your friends. You like hanging out with them. But man, sometimes it feels like you're just walking on eggshells when you're around them. I guess my question for you, and how could you be Jesus to Squidward? How could you understand what they need? Could you listen better? Could you ask better questions? And not just superficial questions, but could you actually ask questions and then actually listen? And if you did that, would you be a better friend? So talk about it. Got any Squidwards? How could you be Jesus to them? Okay, so listen, for this last one, do you know any of these people?
Winter's a good time to stay in and cuddle, but put me in summer and I'll be a happy snowman.
Guys, listen, Olaf is crazy. He's so positive all the time. So positive that it kind of stresses you out a little bit. Do you not care about anything that is going on around you? Are you always goofy all of the time? Do you ever take anything serious? Is everything a joke to you? And it kind of just wears you out. It doesn't matter. You can ask them a question and they always respond with a joke. Do you have any Olafs in your life? Any class clowns? Any people that just want attention by the way that they are goofy? We know these people. We have them in our lives. Have you slowed down enough to ask yourself how Jesus would interact with these people? How would he take them in? What questions would he ask of them? Would he listen? Would he ask why questions? Would he understand the things that make them tick? How's your family? How you doing? Are you really that happy, or are you kind of like covering something up? I don't know. How could you be a better friend to the Olafs in your life? Talk about it. We always want everyone to be okay with our quirks. We want people to give us the benefit of the doubt when we make a mistake or we hurt someone. Like, hey man, I'm not always like that, or it was just an accident. We're so desperate to receive grace in those moments. But man, I think for a lot of us, we don't do a super good job of giving that same grace away. Let's be students that are willing to be Jesus to our friends. Let's be Christ-centered difference makers, students that are willing to put aside our selfish ambition to die daily for our friends, to do the things that maybe they want to do, to be okay with the questions they're asking, to be okay with the day they've planned. Man, I think if we were more like Jesus and gave our friends more grace, I think that our friends would see more of Jesus in us.